So Grace Wells Bonner was announced to be the new creative director at Hermes, and I am so excited. My friend texted the group chat and asked if this is the first time we've seen this kind of press play and just the shuffle we've been seeing over the last couple of years in fashion. And to my knowledge, not since the 90s really. And I'm gonna try to make this kind of quick because I'm really tired if you can't tell. But a couple things were happening in the 90s. Runway and fashion was no longer the trend-setting stage for real. You had things enter the scene like streetwear. Streetwear really blew up, and we were looking to the streets and youth to see what to wear. You really saw that in brands like Tommy Hilfiger. You also had a shift in pop culture and entertainment. So, the tabloids became a really big thing in the 90s. So, people could look to the tabloids to see, oh, what are their favorite celebrities wearing? They didn't have to look at the runway, So there was no longer this vertical trickle down. We started to see the dismantling of that, and the trickle down became more of a cycle for trends. But you also in the 90s had a lot of new talent kind of step on the scene. You had Tom Ford, who went to Gucci. You had John Galliano, who started his brand but also went to Dior. You had Martin Margiela, who obviously had Margiela, but then he also went to Hermes. You had Marc Jacobs, who went to Louis Vuitton and presented some of their first ready-to-wear collections. So that was a big thing happening, and I think part of the shift that happened in the 90s was fashion's way of regaining control and kind of putting themselves back ahead of the curve, but also just trying to keep up, with the new talent they had and wanting to kind of like be back at the forefront. And I think we've been kind of coasting steady until, like the pandemic, maybe a little before the pandemic, but for sure up into the pandemic. And then we started to see this shift again, especially as people are kind of coming out of their like comfy, cozy state and wanting to refine their own personal style. I think they began to look at brands that, were cooler, honestly, than the major fashion houses. You had Vetements that was cooler than Balenciaga. You have Grace Wells Bonner that has become cooler and more relevant than Hermes. You had Jonathan Anderson that was cooler and fresher than, Dior or Loewe. And especially amongst, the younger generation or the newer generation of fashion consumers, they're going to places and looking for smaller, cooler, more unique brands at stores like a Dover Street Market versus a Saks. So I think that's a big thing that's happening right now with this shuffle is just fashion again, the cycle, trying to regain control or, put themselves back ahead of the curve or at least just keep up. Especially these older houses with these newer brands. I think another part of the shuffle too is that, we just never had this many brands at once. And so there's a big shuffle that's happening just to kind of see like where different people land and where they succeed and what takes off with the different houses. I think I read somewhere where it said there was like 30 plus new